Tough game today. Pitchers battle for obviously the first 9 innings. Both starters really hooked up well, and of course they got a real big stop out of their reliever. But really proud of these two gentlemen and how they competed. But overall, congratulate Samford on a win and being able to grind that thing out. Both teams were looking for a way to win it, and Samford just came up a little better than we did.
Questions from the floor?
Dustin, just what do you feel like was missing with the lineup today? Just leaving runners on base.
Yeah, I thought we had great at-bats all day. We didn't get a big hit. We had bases loaded multiple innings, and we didn't get the big hit, which it happens sometimes, and hopefully we get the big hit tomorrow.
Was it something their pitchers were doing to keep you guys off balance?
Yeah, he was a really good arm. The guy out of the bullpen was really good as well, kept us off balance, and yeah, we just didn't get the big hit.
Questions in the back?
Coach, you guys were in this position last week facing elimination in a tournament. What is your message to the team after the game?
Nothing different. Other than this is a real sense of urgency because if you don't win, you do go home for good. So, last week, certainly we didn't take for granted that we were in a regional, but felt like the body of work was enough to get there if we didn't win that conference tournament. But, the sense of urgency now is it's real. I mean, you either win and live to play another day or you go home for the year. And so that was the message to them afterwards. So we got to play better. And, we offensively just didn't get the big hit there that we needed. I think there in the first inning, had a runner at third, less than 2 outs in a situational deal and couldn't get him in. And then the next inning was bases loaded and with 2 outs and didn't get the 2-out hit. A lot of times there was a 2-out hit, even there in the 9th inning with the runner at second base and Etzel up, he lines out to the first baseman. That could have ended it right there. So, but at the end of the day, just didn't do enough offensively. Real proud of Tanner and how he pitched and the way we played defensively. We were able to turn and minimize their scoring opportunities just like they were, but we utilized the double play 3 times. I thought Danny Lynch, what a phenomenal game that he had at third base for us. So, for 9 innings, it was certainly defense and pitching that carried both clubs. But in the end, Samford did a little more than we did offensively to get that win.
Go to a question from Zoom. Heath Hinton.
Hey guys, last season had to work through the elimination bracket. A little different where you won the first game, lost the second. This year, lose the first game. But having to work through the bracket like you did last year, veterans, how do you feel going forward? And you feel like that gives you a little extra juice going into the game tomorrow and the rest of this regional?
Yeah, it gives us a little more juice. I mean, we lose another game where our season's over with. So we got to come out early tomorrow and jump on them early and stay on them the whole game.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something that gets the sense of urgency going, and we kind of know it's do or die now. So I think everything's going to kind of fall together, and we're going to play as hard as we possibly can. I mean, not saying we didn't play as hard as we could today, but having that in the back of your mind that your season can end definitely makes you want to get things done in an earlier inning and things than we did today. So I think it kind of helps us out.
Pete, did you have a follow-up question?
Tanner, go ahead, Greg.
Tanner, you seem stronger at the end. I mean, you seem to get in a rhythm about the 6th inning. Did you feel that way?
Oh yeah, I mean, I felt like it kind of everything started falling together towards the end where I could land my off speed in like a 2-0 count when I got behind and stuff like that. But I feel like I was doing the same thing I was doing at the beginning of the game, which was just trying to attack guys. But definitely started getting a little more feel for the off speed towards the end to really put guys out when it was needed.
Tanner, you threw a career high of 123 pitches. I mean, can you just talk about trying to grind that out in the last 2 innings?
I mean, honestly, it's when a game's like that, it's not too much of a grind, I would say. But I mean, I know in the back of my head, I knew my pitch count was high, but I have to convince myself that I'm all right, I'm good. So I go out there and I'm treating it just as I did in the first inning, you know, just feeling fresh and just tricking my mind into thinking that I'm all right and I'm good. And I mean, I felt great out there, but it definitely gets a little harder towards the end, and that's kind of whenever when I miss, I feel like towards the end of the game, I'm really trying to miss down. I don't want to leave anything up because that's when it'll flatten out towards the end, and they've seen me. They've probably all had like 4 or 5 at-bats at that point, so I feel like it's really purposeful to finish all my pitches and make sure they're down.
When your team falls short after performance like you had today, how do you go about just keeping morale up for the rest of this tournament?
I mean, honestly, you just can't turn on each other. You got to keep the fire going. I mean, now we know that if we lose another one, it's over for us, and can't point fingers, because if we're going to do that, I could point fingers at myself and say it's my fault for giving up the run in the 3rd inning. So I feel like it's a team sport. I mean, we need the bats to go and we need pitchers to pitch, and if they don't fall together that day, then so be it. We'll come back the next day, and now that we know we only got one more loss to get for us, I mean, it's kind of like I said, do or die, and everybody's going to be battling no matter if they're on the mound or in the box.
Question in the back.
Tanner, how about the play of the left side of your infield? I mean, both.
Oh yeah, I mean, the infield and really all the defense today was incredible. Definitely put a lot of confidence in my head out there that, you know, if I made a pitch and get a ground ball, that it's going to get scooped up somewhere and thrown and getting out. So I feel like that's really good whenever you're on the mound, knowing that your defense is going to make plays behind you, because it keeps you from having to work around the zone and stuff. You can just go right at guys and get those outs.
Coach, how do you prepare when you don't know which team you're going to play? Do you just talk about that morning of tomorrow, or is it something you guys discuss right after the game? You watch the game?
Yeah, they'll come back and watch the game tonight and try to evaluate. I'm sure they'll be doing a lot of synergy stuff too on the scouting, particularly tomorrow morning after we figure out who we're going to play. So, you know, we don't really have a read on either one of them. So, it'll be the first time for us to really see them tonight.
Any more questions for coach and players?
Coach,
Go ahead.
you gotta win, 4 now without getting a loss. Do you think that having those win streaks early in the season, you kind of can play off that experience to know you gotta win now?
Yeah, I mean, you know, this is a veteran club. I think they've shown their resiliency, you know, throughout the season. What are we now? We've won 19 of 22. So, you know, we've here in late too, so that, you know, we're going to draw strength on those experiences of being able to win. And, you know, there's nothing more to me that motivates you than knowing that you can't lose, and that's not pressure. That is motivation to go out and lock in and have an attitude with a purpose when you take that field tomorrow.
Last
Is that
question.
something? Do you know what the pitch was that the kid hit over the?
I really don't. Yeah, I don't know. Probably a fastball, I would think.
Last question.
Is that, you know, what you were talking about there with the urgency? I mean, is that something that's talked about, or is that something that you just kind of?
You know, I mean, I think the only time that we've, yeah, I guess, you know, we've had past experiences where, particularly, I think the biggest learning experience we had was at Coastal Carolina. I know I've talked about it a bunch, but, you know, in 2 games, we were outscored 35-14. I mean, that was a gut punch. And, you know, we had to have a sense of urgency. Our season wasn't on the line that series, but certainly getting swept and what that would do to us, you know, and what we were trying to do as a team, that would have been crucial. And so we learned from that experience of basically having our backs against the wall, of having an urgency to win. You know, we revisited that in the conference tournament there after getting beat by App State in the first game on Saturday, knowing that we had to come back and win that one because our goal was to win that tournament. And certainly we were able to weather that one, and here we go again. You know, we're in another situation where we can draw from those experiences where we've had to do it before. You know, and to me, you know, the one thing that hangs over you right now, you have to win. I mean, it's over. There isn't a regional berth. There isn't another conference series coming out of Coastal Carolina. I mean, it is a sense of urgency to come out and be locked in what we're doing. You have to be present to win tomorrow, both mentally and physically, and take an attitude and a purpose with you when that game starts.
Do you know how you pitch it yet?
Don't know, yeah.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank y'all.
Thank